All right, guys, let's overreact to the draft class for a bit. We're not going to start with Cooper because we started with him on the last one. Let's go right to Ace Bailey, who's been getting buckets through 2 preseason games. He played 11 minutes in the third game. I'm just not going to care about that one. I don't have to worry about his knees, do I? I love the sets that the Jazz have put Ace Bailey in because they have allowed him to focus on what he does well, which is make shots and not put as much pressure on him to be a one-on-one creator. And he's had a couple of plays where he's had to do more with the dribble, but for the most part, it's like off-ball screen out of the corner, get an off-ball screen at the top of the key to where you're catching it in stride, and then you're going at like a Şengün or a Cornet who are already in drop coverage, so you got the pull-up 2. I don't know how many minutes you can really expect from Nurkic this season, but he's had some nice passes to Bailey. They've had a good 2-man game in spurts here and there. Like Bailey's totally running around Nurkic off of like a fake DHO to catch it in stride. Like I just really like how Bailey has gotten his shots so far. And so if this is a sign of things to come for Ace, just the shot making and the sets the Jazz put him in, then the question long term will be the playmaking. How many more simple, just on the ball reps can you put him in rather than catching it on the move, even if I imagine that's always going to be a thing for him and the Jazz. We'll see in time, but so far so good. Next we got Dylan Harper, who's played 2 games, but I'm just going to talk about the first one because it already affirmed the stuff that I felt about him after Summer League. And the Spurs are already thinking about a Cornet Wemby horns action where he can go either side of the screen. He got one layup on that one, and the other one they didn't score on, but it did result in Wemby getting a switch, so there's a lot of potential there. He's already scored off of a Wemby skip pass in the post, but the biggest thing to me, as it was in Summer League, is just how comfortable Dylan Harper looks around screens already. And there were a lot of plays that didn't result in an assist, but it was just him running a screen, whether it's in the corner, whether it's on the wing, top of the key, whatever, getting Keldon an open shot, Vassell. I mean, there was one pass he had to Keldon who missed the 3 where, he just whipped it from one wing to the other off the slightest help. And yeah, he looked good. He looked comfortable taking open threes. And for a Spurs team that's not going to have De'Aaron Fox for some time in the beginning of the season, you need somebody to run some screen actions. I think next we can now go to Cooper. He's played 2 more games since I started the last vid with him. If I can be me, in a game where we saw Cooper cook against LaMelo, make a pull-up 3, catch the lob from D'Lo, the play I will remember the most is when he was helping off of Tijon Salon, and he had the reflexes of a cat to steal the pass. It was really cool. And there was a play where Con got Cooper switched off of him, but then he had to deal with PJ, and then also Cooper was reaching in on Con as he was trying to drive, and then Lively was waiting for him at the rim, and I'm like, yeah, the defensive potential is definitely there for this team. It's still insane how we got here. And if you're a Dallas fan, I don't even really know what you're thinking between the excitement of Cooper, but still moving on from the Luka trade, but hey, Cooper looks good. The behind-the-back passes were funny, and let's also pretend the 3 for 13 game didn't happen. Now let's get to VJ, who has not played in nearly 2 weeks now. The most striking thing with VJ is that he just does athletic stuff out of nowhere, like beating Mitchell Robinson for a rebound, which becomes a lob on the other end. Or, he almost dunked on Mitch and he drew a foul. He almost hit his head when going for an offensive rebound. He had another backdoor cut when Deuce was not paying attention to him. And I do like that he's already thinking about this stuff. The flow of the game passes were good. He was amped to just play defense on Brunson, the opportunities he got, picking him up early, just looking excited to do it. It just feels like the finishing is going to be such a big thing. There were 2 plays where he did a really good job in screen actions or on drives, getting into the paint, getting by Josh Hart or whatever. And then one time he had this weird timing release floater thing, which was a miss versus Cat. And another time he tried to get a layup against Mitch and he just had no chance. But I like VJ. He's got to be in the top something % of athletes in the league already. Now let's talk about Con. So, I've been mostly okay with the shots that Con has gotten so far. My favorites being his 2 pump fakes at the rim in the first game. Those went crazy. But really, my biggest takeaway with Con so far is his understanding of spacing and relocating, not in a specific set. So let's say LaMelo's driving and Con, he'll know to relocate to the corner to get in LaMelo's sight line. He's got it open for transition 3s, and I think that combined with his pumping and going off the catch, as well as his fearlessness, if that's the word I'd use, going at defenders, he's willing to get physical on drives. And he's ghosted some screens. I just think Con can be really good at keeping the machine moving on offense with and without the ball. And he also set a screen for Dinwiddie, which led to an assist to Diabate, and I have to care about that. So I do like Con's IQ. We know the shooting is legit. It's just that Con went one spot before Ace, and Right now it feels like it's Khan's floor versus Ace Bailey's ceiling, and which one ends up being more valuable. Now we're going to be a bit more all over the place. Next I want to go to young Hansen. It's really been a tale of two games for him. In the second game, he was way better than the first one. I mean, the first one against the Warriors, he was spaced out by Horford, and then later on, mostly Quentin Post. And yeah, he just looked slow, trying to guard a center who can shoot threes, and just didn't look ready for the game. Second game, he was way better, with the bounce pass to Shaedon Sharpe being the closest thing from the stuff that I will remember the most from him doing in Summer League, like working as a hub around the free throw line, top of the key. And of course, being a threat as a shooter and a driver is going to make that game more effective, because then big guys can't just play off of you all day. Well, in this game, he made 2 threes, and he had a really, really nice drive going around the back. Unfortunately, actually watching that Blazers-Kings game was a nightmare, because the Jumbotron was the telecast. There was replays constantly over the actual game, and so apologies to Neek Clifford, who also played in this game, but I just couldn't see the rest of the game. But Neek Clifford's passing in the other game was really good for the Kings. I mean, he's 23 years old. He looks like he could just step in and get NBA minutes right now. Let's talk about Colin Murray-Boyles with the Raptors. He guarded Jokic and Valanciunas in the first game, and he was physical, and he was hitting the ground at least once that I remember, and he kept on getting up, and he seemed very eager to just keep on trying his best there. So he won me over in that respect. Not that I was surprised. That was his number one thing coming into the NBA. He's been willing to take open threes, and that's good. It would be more good if they go in, so we'll just see in time. He's also very willing to set screens and run DHOs, some of it because when he's at center, he's going to have to do that stuff. Next up, Trey Johnson. His second game, he looked way more comfortable than the first one. The first one, there was like stretches where he didn't get the ball. He finally did get it, and he would just take like a weird floater. He only took 1 3. I'm like, what's going on? The second game, he takes 4 threes in 14 minutes. They had him in more sets where he could like cut right after getting off the ball or attacking off the catch, looking shifty, and actions where he's like sprinting into getting the catch. A really confident 3 in transition. Just giving him the opportunities to be the microwave scorer that we all expect him to be. We're just totally out of order now. I mentioned Kulk Bunner earlier. Let's talk about Kulk Bunner. I mean, based on that Dallas game, he looked like he's ready to play like 15 to 20 minutes a game right now. I mean, he played 5 years of college, so you know what to expect. I mean, the box outs were good. The screens mostly connected. The timing on putbacks was good. Pretty simple drop coverage, but he was mostly in the right spot the whole time on defense. Like, there was one contest where I think he committed like a second too early, which opened up the cut for Lively, but yeah, I think he just looks ready to go. It could be like Diabate is better against spaced out teams and Kulk Bunner's better versus traditional bigs. Also, shout out to Liam McNeely for the Hornets as well. Next, we go to Jeremiah Fears, who also has not played in nearly 2 weeks. My take on Jeremiah Fears so far is that he has a very real ability to get into the paint on plays that look like they're going nowhere. Like, he puts a couple of moves together, and before you know it, he's got the angle on his defender, and that is a real skill that has a lot of potential towards it. As far as everything else, I don't know. I don't know how well he's going to shoot from 3. I don't know how well he's going to finish. I don't know how much you can rely on him to run an NBA offense. I mean, right now it would be off the bench, and then in time you would hope as a starter. But the dude can get inside, and that is good. We still haven't seen Yegor yet. Wolf, Traore, and Saraf are playing, but we're waiting on him the most. Saraf had like 11 assists. Next up, Malawatch for the Suns. Not the first time I'm talking about him. The two things I noticed right away is that he tries to keep his arms stretched out as much as he can, and he's more nimble outside of the paint than you might perhaps give him credit for if you think he's like a slower big guy, I guess. The screens have been hit or miss. I haven't had any particular strong takes about his rim protection, positive or negative, so far. He hasn't played a whole lot of minutes. And his opening stint in the last game he played against the Nets was actually a disaster. Like, in 3 minutes, he manages to drop the ball like 3 different times. And then he came back in after that, and he had a very nice layup where he had to put the ball on the floor. So there's Malawatch. We'll see what his minutes are during the year. Next up, Cedric Coward. I watched 1 game of Coward. I was going to watch the Celtics game, but then I forgot that I can't just watch a replay of a Celtics game like an hour after it ends at NBA.com. I have to wait 3 days. My take on the 1 game I saw was that Cedric Coward was like a bat out of hell. Like, he's just running around like a madman. He's playing very hard around screens, and he had this one great possession of, like, it was against the Pistons guarding like Cade, and he was pressuring Cade earlier anyway. Then he switches onto Stu, then he draws a charge on Ivy, and I'm just like, I'm all in. This is great. And then he had a very loose handle, and he gave a bunch of buckets to like Tobias or Cade where he couldn't get around screens or whatever, and I was like, okay, let me temper my expectations here. But he played hard, and the shooting form is good, and he shot well from 3 in college, and the size is there. He has scored a little bit more since that game. I would like if the 3 was better so far, but whatever. I'm going to be honest, don't really have any opinions on Noah Asenge so far. Where is Derek Queen? My guy Carter Bryant, my favorite rookie from Summer League. He had 2 plays versus Miami. One was in transition as a defender, and the other one was he blew up a cut action for a steal. I got a kick out of that one. And then, he's been dabbling a little bit in this pull-up 2-point game, and that feels like a preseason thing. Like, I'm not going to expect that when the real games start. Could be a sign of something, could be just a thing happening, I don't know. Berenjay for the Wolves, I think his rim protection instincts are definitely there, but what you're seeing right now from him, and he's a very young big guy, so this is normal. You'll see, he's on the wrong side of the screen, or he contests too early on a driver, stuff like that. But when he times it right and he can get a good contest off, you see the potential. The only takeaway I've got on Walter Clayton so far is that he really wants to take pull-up threes, but also he's got some craftiness when he doesn't do that. Yakashonis, the 10 assists were cool. I'm sure Khalil Ware enjoyed it because he was recipient of a lot of them. Just having any sort of simple, straight line plays where we don't have to run a whole bunch of screens. We can run one screen. We don't have to run a set that takes 10 seconds to develop before we get a drive off. That's great for Miami, and we saw that with Yakashonis and the 10 assists. Empty side action with Khalil Ware, a pick and pop with Khalil Ware, able to beat the guy, pressuring him in the backcourt against the Spurs. You get it.